Looks like it's the first snow of the season. It's not much to write home about, but it's time to make winter pulled pork. I rarely make things in the crock pot, mostly because the crock pot is a pain in the neck to clean. But on snow days, I make an exception, and I have like a 40-page final to do today. So crock pot for dinner it is. Got a large piece of pork. Got some apple cider vinegar, olive oil, chipotle peppers, some seasonings, and I'm going to grab some garlic. Okay, so to the crock pot, before I add my big slab pork, I am going to add a mixture of apple cider vinegar and olive oil, half and half, quarter cup, just to line the bottom. I don't actually use a lot of liquid. I find I don't need to with this. It gets very juicy. I just want enough to kind of coat. Okay. Throw that in the sink. Not super elegant in how I cook. So what I do with the chipotle peppers is I put a couple on the bottom, and then I reserve some for kind of like on the top. The adobo sauce makes things really smoky, so I use about half of the can. A really inexpensive way to make your stuff smell and taste really good. So I'll save the rest for the top. So once I got those going, then I'm going to open this up, put this in here, and then sprinkle a little salt on it. I'm already salting the seasoning mix, but I want to salt it a little bit more just to kind of draw out those flavors. Okay, so there is my giant piece of pork loin. I'm going to sprinkle with a little bit of salt. Because a lot of times too, when you mix the salt and the seasoning, you don't get that initial base level of salt. So I add salt all throughout. And I'm not super formal about making videos, so if you're expecting a professional Food Network style presentation, this video is not for you. There we go. So it seems like a lot, but it's actually a fairly heavy piece of pork, so you want enough salt to kind of get in there. And a lot of it, when it's juicing, is going to roll off. And I'm not putting a lot of salt in the seasoning, so it seems like a lot of salt, but it's actually not. I think I've used a total of maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons in the entire recipe. Now it's time to make that spice rub that I like to make. And like I said, a little bit of salt still left in here. I'd say about a tablespoon, maybe a little less. I got a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Again, seems like a lot, but for like 2.5, 3 pounds of pork loin, it's not too bad, and a lot of it's just going to end up in the sauce, so don't feel too bad about this. I don't think I filled it entirely. So there's that. I love spicy food, so I'm adding a lot of spices. What you're going to notice here is there is no ground garlic. That's because I don't like the taste of it in my spice mixes. I think it tastes kind of artificial, so I skip it. I'm going to start with chipotle, because you can never have too much chipotle when you're making a chipotle pork taco. Smoked paprika. That's in a lot of things. But yeah, it's just to reinforce that smoke. Notice I'm not measuring, because I don't like to measure. Red pepper flake. And you can ask Anthony, even though I don't measure, it always turns out good. There's never any leftovers. Another one I've got today, which I was so excited about, was ground ancho chili. Keep meaning to pick it up. I hadn't, and I got it today. So I put about 1/2 teaspoon in there. And some cumin, because it's a taco. I put a lot of cumin, because it's a taco. And then you just mix it up real good. I don't have to chop up that brown sugar. And I'll continue mixing and not bore you with it. Okay, magically mixed. And yeah, I added more spices to it because I love spicy food. So I'll just like I'll just smell it, and if it doesn't smell spicy enough, I'll just keep adding. Okay, so I'm going to put some black pepper on it first. I ground it up because it kind of gets lost if you don't put it in first. So that is on. And now, this is the fun part. Let me pull this closer. It's actually surprisingly far away. And I have short arms, T-Rex arms. There we go. Okay. So now this is the fun part. A lot of people are like, just sprinkle it on top. No. No, you do not do that. Don't do that. If you sprinkle it on top, you're not really taking this seriously. Throw it on there. Heap it on there. Then rub it in. Get your hands dirty. You got You got a sink. You'll be all right. Rub it in there because you want that flavor to permeate, and then you want the juices to run out to be super, super flavorful. You know, let's just pour it on there. We're not even going to have any decorum here. And just kind of rub it in there. Massage it like it's your friend. It's pork. It's your buddy. And if you don't eat pork, if you eat kosher, you can substitute beef. This will hold up with beef. Rub this into a nice brisket even. Who knows? It'll hold up. It's delicious. All right. Although with the beef, I would scale back on the brown sugar because you don't need as much. And maybe up the cumin and the garlic. Okay. So there it is. It's kind of massaged in there. You can see it's already kind of started mixing in with all the juices and fun stuff. And don't worry about the underside because the underside's going to get all that runoff. So you're good. Then you have, what? I have like 3 cloves? 3 cloves of garlic. Put 1 on top, 1 on each side. Why do you do that? I don't know. It just seems to work for me. It's not scientific. I'm not classically trained in chefing or anything like that. But if you need to learn about marginal returns on things, I can teach you that. All right, and then this reserve sauce, just pour it on top. Because you want some of that to kind of seep in there too. You don't have to be perfect with it. It's all going to get mixed up. Okay. I'm going to put this because the pork was kind of at, cool, but not anywhere near frozen at all. In fact, closer to room temperature than anything else. So since the pork was already kind of at that good temperature, I'm going to put it on high for about 4 hours. And after 4 hours, I will have delicious pulled pork.